Okay everyone, so today I am really excited to take a look at Fedora 35 on the Raspberry Pi 4. And this is going to be my first time taking a look at GNOME 41 on the Raspberry Pi 4, or even GNOME 41 period. Like, I haven't looked at it on desktop Linux either, so I'm really excited, and I'll let you guys know how you can download this a little bit later. But let's start out with this initial setup process. So it says, welcome to GNOME 41. I want to take the tour to see what is new in GNOME 41. I'm going to click that, and it says learn about the key features in Fedora Linux 34, and I am using the Workstation Edition. I can go over to start. We can get an overview of the apps. When we click our Windows key, we click that right there, and I can see that. Click next. Just type to search. So if I type something like files, does it work? Or type in the overview. Okay, I get that. Keep on top with workspaces, up down for overview, left right for workspaces, and all these things are pretty much more for laptops if you want to use those nice gestures. But yeah, let's get started. Alrighty guys, so we finished that tour of GNOME 41 and now we're on our desktop. But before we do anything, let me tell you guys about how to install Fedora 35 on your own Raspberry Pi 4. So to do this first, let me mention this is not the official build of Arch 64 Fedora Workstation on the official Fedora website, because that version actually runs incredibly slow and it really just is not usable whatsoever. But actually there is a third-party build on this website called rpmfusion.org, how to Raspberry Pi. I will leave a link to this in the description, and there is a build of Fedora 35 that just runs a lot better on your Raspberry Pi 4. So you go to this website first and you go down to the place that says pre-built images F35, Fedora 35, and go down to where it says workstation and download the Arch 64 build. Click the image link, download that to your computer, and then use a tool like Raspberry Pi Imager or Balena Etcher and either flash it to a USB stick or an SD card. But let me mention this, if you do use a USB stick, you are going to have to change a little text inside the boot/EFI/cmdline.txt. It's really simple, and that will just allow your Fedora 35 to boot from your USB stick. If you don't do that, it will not work, sadly. But it's not that hard. So after that, boot it up on your Raspberry Pi 4, and you will be welcomed with a really nice setup process. It's an extremely intuitive, really easy to go through, and just follow the prompts and you'll be done with it. And that's basically all you have to do. Then you can take that tour about GNOME 41 if you're interested, and bam, you will have Fedora 35 set up on your Raspberry Pi 4. Alright, so we finished all that. Now let's go to the second part of this video. I want to talk about the system resource usage and take a look at NeoFetch on the system to see what we're really running. So to do that, I'm going to go over to activities and I'm going to search for terminal. I typed that in wrong. There we go, terminal. So first of all, let's type in NeoFetch or htop. Let's type in htop. So right now on an idle boot, we are using 1.3 gigabytes of RAM. Well, it's not idle. I have used it a little bit, but it's fairly idle. We're using 1.3 gigabytes of RAM, and our cores are all down. But again, for a Raspberry Pi 4, 1.3 gigabytes of RAM is kind of a lot. And that would be because we are running GNOME. Just GNOME is a really heavy desktop environment, and I can't really recommend running GNOME on like a 1 or 2 gigabyte Pi 4 because you're not going to have much RAM to do anything else. But I mean, I was expecting over 1 gigabytes of RAM anyway. That's not a big thing. But yeah, so now let's take a look at NeoFetch. So in NeoFetch, it says we are running Fedora Linux 35 Workstation Edition. Our Raspberry Pi model, everything is right. We're running the 5.10.74 kernel, and we have 1,606 packages already installed on this fresh install. We are running GNOME 41, and yeah, so it's a fairly normal NeoFetch. I mean, it's intuitive, and yeah. So that's all we have right here. So, Alright, so let's go to the third part of this video, and I want to talk about basically what the desktop looks like, what comes pre-installed, what type of apps are here, and let's just explore the desktop together. I mean, let's see what we can do with this. So first of all, on the top right, we have our little menu bar type of thing. So we have our audio controller right here, control the volume, we have Wi-Fi, we have balance, and I thought this was pretty interesting. So if I go right here to power settings, there are two power settings that come on here. We have balance, which is a standard performance in power usage mode, and then we have power saver, which is reduced performance and power usage. So this really looks like it's much more for a laptop, because when you're running your Raspberry Pi 4, you're usually using it with connected to the wall, so you're not too concerned about power. So obviously I'm going to keep mine unbalanced, but if you are running this on some type of power bank or something, you could consider the power saver. But with the Raspberry Pi 4, it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, but I've never seen that before and it looks pretty interesting. So we have settings, lock on the power off and log out, all standard things. It looks pretty much the same as GNOME 40. Right here we see our time, we have notifications, time, date. It's a pretty cool thing in app activity. So here we can see our two desktops that are here. So if I use the scroll wheel on my mouse, or if I did have a trackpad, which most people don't with their Raspberry Pi 4, there are actually gestures on here that you can scroll and swipe. It's pretty cool. So we have two different desktops here, and I can install or open up different applications on either of them, and it's just cool. Here we have show applications, and again, most of GNOME 41's features look pretty similar to GNOME 40. Like, I don't see a big difference, which is okay, but I mean, yeah, it's fine. So here are the applications. We have contacts, weather, clocks, maps, photos, videos. Fedora Media Writer looks pretty interesting. Let's click on it and see what it is. So it's probably alright. So Fedora Media Writer. So right here we have Fedora Workstation 35, Fedora Server 35, and Custom Image. So if I want Fedora Server 35, so this is still for Intel 64-bit, even though we are on a Raspberry Pi 4. But if you wanted to create a Fedora USB stick for your PC on your Raspberry Pi 4, the Fedora Media Writer will allow you to do so. I guess it will download it from the web and then flash it to a USB stick. But there is an option for a custom image, so I guess you could flash, let's say, Raspberry Pi OS or something using this tool if it supports the .exe file format. I'm not really sure, but it's a cool thing to have pre-installed. Let's go back to all of our applications, and then we have our calculator, text editor, document scanner, settings, system monitor, boxes, terminal, utilities. We have just some special utilities in here. We have help and cheese. So these are all just standard GNOME applications that come on most GNOME distros that use the standard look. But hey, so one thing, the GNOME Maps is actually a fairly good maps application. I mean, it can compare to some bigger maps applications, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's really interesting, it looks cool, and like, I could search for really anywhere in here and it should show me a good result. So if I typed in New York City, we could go down to like New York County and it will show me where I am. I could go directions, and there's a nice little image right here. And I don't know, most people aren't going to be using this, but hey, I just thought it's cool, I might mention it. So that is the GNOME Maps application. We can exit out of there. And yeah, so I mean, I don't really need to go through all of these applications since they're pretty standard. Hey, I mean, I could go into the GNOME software application. We can go browse software. Let's see what types of applications we have in here and if they are actually available, like work on this system. So if I saw Inkscape right here, let's see. So, oh, there's different sources. So in the sources right now, this will be installing it from the Flatpak. It's not going to be using RPM, it will be using Flatpak. Let's see if it works. I can go install, because I don't know, this could be more oriented to x86 PC systems. But, I mean, let's test it out and see if it works. So it does say installing. We'll see about that. So I'm just going to actually leave that right here open right there. And we can go ahead and go back. So let's go over to a different desktop. And hey. So we have our Files application. Firefox is a default browser. And then we have our calendar. So I mean, that's really all I want to mention about the software, the desktop. They all look pretty good. It's standard GNOME. Yeah. So, now I want to talk about the performance, because that is going to be obviously one of the biggest factors of if you're going to use this operating system on your Raspberry Pi 4. Do you have good performance with Fedora 35 on a Raspberry Pi 4 running GNOME 41? Well, no. I mean, I'm just outright gonna say, this is not amazing performance. There definitely is some, like, you wait a little bit after clicking something. It's not the most smooth. The graphics, like, if I move this window around, you can see it's like even cutting around in the window. Like, it really isn't the best operating system you could use on your Raspberry Pi 4. But, I mean, is it usable? Sure, if you really want that Fedora Red Hat based operating system, go ahead, you can use it, but you're just not going to have the best experience. Like, this isn't comparable to Raspberry Pi OS. This isn't comparable to some other lightweight XFC LXC distro. Even Ubuntu probably performs better than this, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it just isn't the best experience on your Raspberry Pi 4. But, yeah. So, right now, let's go ahead over to the web browser and let's test out Firefox web browsing video playback and see if this is a usable experience or not. Which I'm honestly not thinking it is, because last time I checked it wasn't, but hey, I mean, I'm gonna give it a go. So it says Firefox is still loading. It's taking Firefox quite a while to load up. So here we are, our default page is the Start Fedora project. So if I went over to, let's say, Amazon.com, type that in the web browser directly, let's see how long it takes up to load. Alright, I mean, it's alright. We scroll, there definitely is some like screen tearing while I'm scrolling, just like there's screen tearing when I move the window. I mean, I think there just isn't proper GPU drivers or hardware acceleration on this operating system currently, which there aren't for most operating systems on the Raspberry Pi 4. So that works if we opened up another tab and we went to Raspberry Pi. Oh, and we are using Yandex right now. Not my favorite, but hey. You see, I mean, this could be based on my network too, but my network isn't that slow. So there is definitely some delay in the responsiveness, and just loading up web pages even do take a little bit longer than I would prefer. But hey, it works. Alright, so that loads up. Now let's head over to YouTube and see, can we play Big Buck Bunny? YouTube.com. Go over there. And let's test this out. Wait for that to load up. Big Buck Bunny. Alright. See, here we are. Let's go ahead and just run the normal 720p version, the 30 FPS, since, I mean, yeah, it'd just be a little bit better. So let's make it full screen. Look, that little delay was a little bit not my favorite. Let's close captions, settings, and we're running at 720p by default. Okay, that's cool. Right click stats for nerds, and right now, how many frames are we dropping? So we're running this at 24 frames right now, and it says we're dropping 10, 18, 21. So we are dropping quite a few frames, and I do recognize a little lag, the little delay in watching this video. I don't know so much about screen tearing, but it just feels sluggish like the rest of the system does. Which again, kind of a bummer. I really wasn't expecting too much more if I skip through the video. I mean, it loads up fairly quick. Is this watchable? I mean, yeah, it's watchable. I mean, you could handle anything. It's just not going to be the best experience you're going to get on your Raspberry Pi 4. But hey, we can do it. That's cool. Alright, so there we go. Web browsing, video playback on this operating system again aren't going to be the greatest experience. Like anything, I mean. Oh, it says unable to install Inkscape because there isn't enough space. So I must have forgot about this. So this operating system actually doesn't automatically resize your system. So we actually need to go ahead and do that. So is gparted already installed? Gparted isn't already pre-installed. There is GNOME disk, but I just prefer gparted. So I'm going to open up my terminal and I'm going to type in a command. I'm going to type in sudo dnf install gparted, since gparted should be in the automatic repositories. So we type in my password right here. Alright, so I also noticed this to be a bit slow. It just kind of takes a long time. It says cannot download different things. Okay, here we go. Is this okay? Yes. Alright, so it should be downloading gparted for me right now, and it's preparing installing. I just want to show you guys this in real time so you can see how long it takes to install an application. Sure, if you had a bit faster internet, it would download a bit faster, but this isn't a really big system. So it says complete. Alright, so let's go right here. Let's search for gparted. Here we go. Gparted, we have to type in our password to use gparted. Alright, let's do that real fast. Okay, here we go. See, we have all this unallocated space since it doesn't automatically resize. So to do that, right here, after you install this operating system, you're going to want to right click on the -dev sdk2, or it might be called something different, but that yellowish, the biggest one right there, you're going to go down to resize and move, and you're just going to want to pull this thing all the way to the end, all the way. So now it will use up all of that space. Click resize. It's still not in place, so go right here, click this green tick, click apply. After apply, it's going to go right ahead and it's going to play everything. It's already done. So now we have a lot more space, and now I can access all 60 gigabytes of my operating system. So now I could go back. Let's say I want to install Inkscape. I could try that one more time because now I actually have the space. I'm not trying to install on space I don't have. So right here's Inkscape. We'll go install. So let's let that thing do its thing. Alrighty, so this thing just seems to be stuck at 91%. I don't know why. I've been waiting a really long time, like a lot more than I should. But maybe that's because I'm using the Flatpak. Maybe if I went to the RPM, it would work. I don't know, but hey, I'm just gonna exit out of this. I don't know why it's not working, but yeah. So I just wanna go ahead and conclude this video. So Fedora 35 with GNOME 41 is a really cool operating system. I like that it has its own unique package manager. It's fun to play around. If you're someone who really enjoys Linux and likes the Raspberry Pi 4, I would recommend installing this. You can play around, see what you can do, maybe improve the performance, and just, yeah. But if you're looking for a really nice, fast desktop environment for your Raspberry Pi 4, this just isn't going to be it. You're not going to be wanting to use GNOME on your Raspberry Pi 4 because you're just not going to get the performance that you're really looking for. So yeah, my conclusion is it's a cool operating system, but it's not ready to be daily used like many operating systems for the Raspberry Pi 4. But again, it's fun. I would recommend you guys checking out if you just want to have some fun, play around, learn a new Linux distribution if you never used it before. If you have, you might be familiar and you might enjoy it. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts about this operating system and the video in the comments below. And if you really like to give that video a like. So, thanks for watching.